Hey, Silent Warrior. Yes, I am talking to you. You do not need to wear iron armor. You do not need to shout in the middle of the battlefield, because your true strength is not in what others can see. It lies in the fact that you do not bow to chaos. But this world keeps testing you. News floods in every morning. Work pressure squeezes every breath. Small temptations drip in each day like rain slowly seeping into stone. Every time you give in, a brick in your inner fortress falls away. Imagine one day you wake up and realize that the fortress has collapsed. You no longer recognize yourself. You no longer have the strength to withstand any turmoil. But there is still time. The 9 habits I'm about to share are the 9 bricks that will help you rebuild it, stronger than ever. Keep them, and you keep yourself. Lose them, and you lose everything. Now tell me, Silent Warrior, are you ready? Leave a sign below so I will know you are still holding your sword and standing firm in the storm. Habit number 1, start the day in silence. Have you ever noticed? The way you start your morning will determine the whole day. If you open your eyes and immediately grab your phone, you are giving your soul to the world before you've had a chance to protect it. Around 65 AD, the philosopher Seneca often woke before the city of Rome burst into noise and chaos. He sat quietly in his room, no papers, no letters, just thinking. He envisioned the challenges of the coming day: angry clients, insults from others, bad news that might strike. But Seneca did not seek to avoid them. He welcomed them in his mind before they happened. Why? Because he believed that if the mind is prepared, nothing can throw us into panic. Today, many people start their morning by opening social media, scrolling through news, reading emails, and unconsciously letting their emotions be pulled away. Each notification is a string, tugging your mind out of its silence. Modern science also proves the first 60 minutes after waking are a golden hour, shaping your emotional state and focus for the whole day. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Morning silence is not wasting time. It is shield setting for the mind. Practical application. 1. Do not touch your phone upon waking. Instead, take a deep breath, drink a glass of water, and let your mind acknowledge that you are alive. 2. Spend at least 10 minutes in silence. This could be meditation, journaling, or simply looking out the window and thinking about what's ahead. 3. Visualize the day's challenges. Like Seneca, think of situations that may occur, not to fear them, but to prepare. 4th, ask yourself a Stoic question each morning. What is truly within my control today? Starting the day in silence is like a warrior stepping onto the battlefield with armor thoroughly checked. You will not tremble when the first arrow flies, because you have already prepared. When you start your day in silence, you have built the first wall of your inner fortress. But a lone wall will not protect you. You will need more layers of defense, and the next habit will be your sword. Habit number 2, accept what you cannot control. You will suffer half as much if you can let go of what does not belong to you. But ironically, the very things we cannot control are often the ones we cling to the most. In the year 175, Emperor Marcus Aurelius was on his way to the northern frontier for battle. Then came grim news. His youngest son had fallen gravely ill in Rome. The distance, over 1,000 kilometers, across lands ravaged by war, made it impossible for him to return immediately. Marcus's secretary recounted that he remained silent for a moment, then continued writing in meditations. If it is not within my control, it cannot harm my soul. The only thing I can do is keep my character intact. Stoic philosophy divides the world into 2 groups. 1. What is within our control? Our actions, our attitudes, our reactions. 2. What is outside our control? The weather, what others say, fate, death. When we try to change what cannot be changed, We make ourselves slaves to disappointment. Modern psychology has a similar concept, the circle of control. The more a person focuses on this circle, the less stress they experience and the more effective they become. Practical application. 1. Identify immediately. When facing a problem, ask yourself, is this within my circle of control or not? 2. Act on what you can control. If you can act, do it. If not, accept it as part of life. 3. Use the phrase, let it be, as a stop signal. Whenever your mind tries to control the uncontrollable, remind yourself of this phrase. 4. Write out a classification chart, 2 columns, within and beyond, to train your brain to respond in the right direction. Imagine you are a sailor at sea. You cannot control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. Focusing on the sails, not the wind, is the only way to reach your destination. When you accept what you cannot control, you have forged steadfastness. But a silent warrior does not merely stand still and wait for the storm to pass. They also know how to sharpen their sword, and that is habit number 3. Habit number 3, practice self-discipline. Your most dangerous enemy is not the world out there, but the indulgence within. And if you cannot command yourself, don't dream of leading anything. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, was once a slave. He could not decide where he lived, could not choose the work he did, and could not leave his master. But there was one thing no one could take from him, the mastery of himself. Every morning he set himself small tasks, no complaining, no impulsive reactions, completing his work with full integrity. Gradually, Epictetus realized, discipline is not a chain, but the key that unlocks freedom. When he was freed, discipline had already transformed him into a different man, strong, confident, and unafraid of anyone. Modern people often dislike the word discipline because it suggests pressure and rigidity. But for the Stoics, discipline is the only way to protect oneself from the chaos of emotions and desires. Neuroscience also proves training discipline strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that governs decision-making and reason, while reducing the dominance of the emotional brain, the amygdala. With discipline, you are not dragged by bad habits. You act based on values, not on fleeting emotions. Practical application. 1. Start small but consistent. For example, wake up at the same time each morning, even if it's just 15 minutes earlier. 2. Set personal, golden rules. Only 1 to 2 unbreakable principles, e.g., no snacking after 9 p.m., or read at least 10 pages a day. 3rd, hold yourself accountable. Track your progress in a journal or share it with a friend to maintain commitment. 4. Reward and punish yourself reasonably. Small rewards for maintaining habits, penalties for breaking them, but never quit. Self-discipline is like training a muscle. Each time you refuse a temptation, you are lifting weights for your willpower. The more you train, the stronger your will becomes, until one day you realize that nothing controls you but yourself. A silent warrior not only controls themselves, but also knows how to fill their mind with what nourishes it. And that is the secret of habit number 4. Habit number 4. Nourish your mind with the right knowledge. You are the result of what you feed your mind every day. Give it garbage, and you will live a garbage life. Give it light, and it will take you further than you imagine. Seneca, one of the wealthiest and most powerful Stoic philosophers in Rome, once warned of a dangerous mental disease, a mind overfed with worthless information. He wrote to his friend, "I do not read for amusement, but to live. If a book does not help me live better, I will put it down." Seneca understood that the mind is like a garden. If you do not plant good trees, weeds will take over. Thus, he carefully selected what entered his mind, like a gardener tending precious plants. Today, we are exposed to a volume of information thousands of times greater than in Seneca's Rome. Yet most of it is negative news, drama, or instant dopamine-triggering content. The human brain does not distinguish between real information and junk information. It receives and stores it all. This pulls you into an emotional spiral and erodes your ability for long-term focus. The Stoic principle, only feed the mind nourishing food. This preserves inner calm and directs the intellect toward lasting values. Practical application. 1. Curate your information sources. Follow only a few high-quality sources on philosophy, science, and life skills. 2. The 1-for-1 rule. For every 10 minutes of entertainment content, read 10 minutes of a useful book or material. 3rd, limit news. Update yourself only once a day at a fixed time. 4. Keep a knowledge journal. Write down 1 to 3 valuable things you learned each day to help the brain retain them more deeply. The mind is like a vessel. If you fill it with filth, it will contaminate everything. But if you pour pure water into it daily, eventually all the murkiness will be pushed out. But a vessel full of knowledge, if not used properly, will only become a storage room for dust. A silent warrior not only learns, they act. And that is why habit number 5 is so important. Habit number 5, act consistently regardless of emotion. Emotions are waves. Consistent action is the boat. If you only row when the sea is calm, you will never reach your destination. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, had days of fatigue, exhaustion, and immense pressure from politics. Yet every morning he still rose early to write Meditations, the reflective journal that would become an eternal legacy. When the sun rises, remember that you must get up and do your part, even if your body wants to stay in bed. Marcus understood that emotions are only temporary weather. If you let them decide, life will drift with the wind. So he chose to act based on principles, not on mood. Most of us only work when we feel like it, but motivation is fleeting, while results come from persistence. The Stoics believed action is the antidote to all procrastination and fear. Each time you act, you strengthen your faith in yourself. Modern psychology calls this behavioral activation. Act first, and positive emotions will follow, not the other way around. Practical application. 1. Set fixed action schedules, e.g., exercise at 6 a.m. every day, regardless of mood. 2. The 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately without delay. 3. Separate emotion from task. When you don't want to do something, say, I don't have to like it, I just have to do it. Track streaks of success. Use a calendar to mark each day you complete the task, keeping the streak as long as possible. Consistent action is like pushing a heavy wheel. At first it's hard, but once it's rolling, momentum helps you keep going. Each time you quit, you have to start from the beginning. But constant action doesn't mean blind action. A silent warrior also needs another skill: to stand still and observe before delivering the decisive strike. That is habit number 6. Habit number 6, pause to observe before reacting. The weak react instantly. The strong observe, understand, and then act. The more impatient you are, the easier you are to control. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was once a slave, had seen many people ruined by a moment's impulsive reaction. He told his students, "It is not events themselves that make you suffer, but your judgment about them." When his former master broke his leg, Epictetus did not scream or curse. He simply said, "I told you not to twist it so hard." He understood that keeping the mind from being pulled into the storm is true freedom. The modern world is full of situations that provoke quick reactions. Negative comments, sensational news, and work pressure. Each time you react instantly, you hand over control of your emotions to someone else. Stoic principle: create a gap between stimulus and response. Modern psychology calls this response inhibition, the ability to restrain impulsive action, allowing the brain to assess the situation more accurately. Practical application: 1. The 3-breath rule. When faced with anger-triggering situations, stop and take 3 deep breaths before saying or doing anything. 2. Observe as an outsider. Imagine you are watching a movie of yourself and the main character is about to react. What advice would you give them? 3. Write instead of speaking immediately, especially when responding to upsetting emails or messages. 4. Ask before reacting. Does this action serve my long-term goal? Imagine you are an archer. If you shoot too quickly, the arrow will miss. But if you patiently draw the bow, aim carefully and then release, the arrow will hit the target with far greater force. But observation alone is not enough. A silent warrior must also know how to heal and restore strength to be ready for the next battle. That is habit number 7. Habit number 7, make time for stillness and recovery. An overdrawn bow will break. A wise warrior knows when to sheathe the sword, sit down, and let the mind heal. Seneca, the wealthy and powerful Stoic sage, despite his busy duties in the Roman court, still devoted mornings simply to sitting quietly, writing, and reflecting on life. He believed, the mind needs periods of rest, just as a field must be left fallow for the soil to recover. Seneca observed that those who endlessly chase work and ambition often collapse early, not because they are weak, but because they do not know how to restore their strength. In modern society, busyness has become a badge of honor, but the Stoics remind us that stillness is not laziness, it is strategy. Stillness allows you to review your journey, evaluate what truly matters, restore physical and mental energy. Modern science now proves that quality rest boosts creativity, improves memory, and enhances decision-making. Practical application: 1. Create a daily disruption-free zone, 15 to 30 minutes without phone or email, just sitting still or walking slowly. 2. Practice digital sunset. Turn off electronic devices at least 1 hour before bed to free the mind from constant stimulation. 3. Take short rest cycles. Work for 50 minutes, rest for 10 minutes to let the brain recharge. 4. Keep a stillness journal. Each evening, write down 3 things you observed during the day. No judgment, just acknowledgement. A river remains pure only when its waters are at times still, undisturbed. The mind is the same. If it is always in motion, it will grow murky. But stillness is not only for resting, it is also to prepare for something greater, to live for an ideal higher than yourself. That is habit number 8. Habit number 8, live for an ideal greater than yourself. A warrior who fights only for himself will tire and lose direction, but a warrior who fights for an ideal will never run out of strength. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote in Meditations, "When you wake up each morning, remind yourself, today I live to serve humanity." Though he could have lived in luxury, Marcus chose to devote his life to fighting corruption, protecting civilians, and keeping peace along the borders. He understood that an ideal is the flame that keeps the heart from going out, even when the body's weary and the world is against you. The Stoics did not encourage living solely for personal pleasure. They believed that a goal greater than oneself would give you strength to overcome adversity, keep you steadfast in the face of temptation, bring meaning even in failure. Modern psychology research also shows that people with a clear purpose live longer, are happier, and have stronger resilience after hardship. Practical application. 1. Define your ideal. Write one complete sentence, I exist to, and fill in the blank. 2. Link daily actions to your ideal. With every task and decision, ask, does this serve my ideal? 3. Inspire others. Share the story of your ideal with loved ones or colleagues. Don't keep it a secret in your mind. 4. Accept small sacrifices for a greater goal. Be willing to give up short-term gains to stay true to your long-term path. A ship without a compass will be carried away by the waves. But when you have an ideal, it becomes your North Star. No matter the storm, you still know where you are headed. And finally, a silent warrior not only lives for an ideal, but also leaves behind a legacy, a mark that even time cannot erase. That is habit number 9. Habit number 9. Leave a legacy that transcends time. The life of a warrior is not measured by the number of years lived, but by the marks they leave when they are gone. Epictetus, once a slave who became a philosopher, left behind neither wealth nor fame. Yet over 2,000 years later, his words still echo. No one remembers who you are. They only remember how you made them become a better person. He did not build monuments, but he etched his name into the minds of his students, and those students passed it on to the next generation. That is legacy, not material possessions, but values for living. The Stoics saw legacy not only as wealth or physical structures, but as a way of life, moral principles, positive impact on the lives of others. Modern sociology research shows that people who aim to create a positive influence for future generations often feel deep satisfaction and peace in their later years. Practical application. 1. Define your spiritual legacy. What do you want others to remember about you? 2. Act consistently. Live each day in alignment with the legacy you want to leave. 3. Share knowledge and values. Don't let your valuable experiences be buried in memory. Pass them on to the next generation. 4. Lead by action, not just words. The strongest legacy is not written on paper, but lived out in daily behavior. The seeds you plant today may grow into mighty trees whose shade you will never sit under. But others will, and they will remember that it was you who planted them. Silent warrior. These 9 habits are the 9 bricks that build the fortress of your inner self. Keep them, and you keep yourself. Lose them, and you lose everything. Now tell me, which brick will you lay down first? Comment below, so I know you still hold your sword and stand your ground. I am the flame keeper, the one who keeps the fire alive for souls seeking stillness to grow strong. And remember, the world won't wait for you to be ready before it strikes. Start forging your sword today.